I'm Megan Skidmore. For 2.5 years, I have been talking about evolving faith journeys. I started to tire of the heaviness of this focus. I had the clear message come through. It is time for Beyond the Shadow of Doubt podcast to evolve into Living Beyond the Shadow of Doubt podcast. With the same vulnerability and unapologetic authenticity, I will be focusing on the joy in this journey, the life and the living that comes on the other side of maybe, on the other side of what's possible. I want to talk about claiming spiritual sovereignty and becoming your own captain of your vessel. Let's celebrate releasing what no longer aligns for you and connecting with your higher power and honor expanding your energy field to make room for all things new. Hey everyone, welcome to Living Beyond the Shadow of Doubt. I'm Megan Skidmore, your host, and today I have a newer friend, but yet you already feel so dear to me, Holli. I'm so grateful for our paths to have crossed earlier this year, I think, beginning of this
In
year.
January, I think, is when we met.
Isn't it crazy
Beautiful.
how relationships can grow and you feel like you knew someone longer than you have? I think that's what happens when you just jump to the real stuff
Right.
in your conversations and you're cultivating your friendship. And that's how I feel about you.
Well, thank you.
I'm really grateful that you made time in your schedule to join me today, Holli. I know you have an amazing, unique, and special story, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with our listeners. So brief background, Holli, you and I met at an event, the Success Codes Live in Phoenix of this year with Kira Brinton. And my listeners, if you've been around for a while, know that I recently participated in season 1 of Writer's Island. And Holli, you're going to be in season 2.
Yes, I am.
And I believe this episode is going to air close to the time that you're leaving for the island. Wow.
Exciting. So
That's almost
exciting. I'm so
here.
excited to see you on episode 1. I
And
can't
I
wait.
can't wait to see. I hope you post behind the scenes to your stories and whatnot. But I'll let you share more about that in a minute. I just wanted to give a little bit of background of our connection. So take a few minutes, Holli, and share with our listeners a little bit about you and your background, where you're from, family, faith, your work, profession, all of those things that make you you.
Well, okay. I started I would say the road less traveled about 29 years ago,
Oh,
and moved out of religion. Um, one of the things that made it safe for me to move out of religion, I was in a religion that um, had the name Jesus Christ in it. And I heard for about a year to be done, to join no church. And I was afraid, even though I was moving out, I was still doing it in fear. And the last step out, my relationship with Jesus was really my main relationship. My spiritual relationship has always been priority to me, even as a child. And it was one that was dear to my heart and that I kept close. But it was in the parameters of religion, being told what to do and how to worship, and that you had to worship. And so I told Jesus, I said, I can leave if you personally become and am you're over me and you're my authority. And if you say yes, then I can do it. And I was sitting in the front row in Sunday school, like I do, front row. whatever I do spiritually or religiously, I would go full in and follow all of the rules and regulations that I was supposed to. I saw him walk in, and it was kind of like I could see him with these eyes, and I thought everybody could see him. So I was like, why isn't everybody like jumping up? And I realized I was the only one that could see him. He wasn't quite like it was like he was still kind of see-through, but the colors, the clothes he was wearing, everything, I could see him, and I finally realized I better settle down or they're gonna wonder why I'm, like, jumping around and searching back and forth, like, "Why isn't
Oh,
anybody screaming?" And I settled
Holly.
down, and I waited for him, and he came in front of me, and he stood. And usually my relationship with him, it's one-on-one. It's like a dear friend, and he stood there. And I thought I was offended. I thought, why is he standing up there? Like he's not even getting close. It's like he kind of felt cold. And I realized, oh, I am asking for another authority to replace the religion and authority. I'm asking for another authority. And I knew I knew it didn't feel good to have a relationship because my relationship with him was so tender and it was in authority. So it's like, okay, and thank you because he gave me what I asked. And then I was able to let go of that religion freely because I felt safe. But it was like, yeah, that's not the type of relationship I want with this being because the relationship that I had was, like I said, so tender to me.
So, if you don't mind if I can interject, I just want to make sure I'm understanding. When you say you had been looking for an outside confirmation or permission, that had been your prayers up till that point, and so
Yeah,
you had
give me permission. Someone,
looking
something,
for. I
give me
think you used the word
permission.
authority, outside
Yeah,
authority, and
that
so
it's
you.
okay not to be in this religion.
Uh huh.
So
And so you've had
I
this
think
experience where I don't think I heard you say, but I'm assuming you mean Christ
yes, yeah,
entered your space there in the Sunday school room.
yeah,
And you it was a different way to experience that relationship,
yes.
something that was you had cultivated over years and was something very tender to you. And so I wanted to make sure I understood. You said more than once, I didn't want that kind of a relationship. You mean
It was
like a
distant.
structured or okay,
It felt very distant.
within the
Like,
walls of that Sunday school
yeah,
room. Okay.
yeah, it was so different than how I was used to when he would come into my space.
Okay.
I mean, it was truly, he was dear to my heart. So, and it was like, there was no getting close to that authoritative figure. And it's like, oh, I see what I'm asking for. I'm asking for me not to know in my heart what I am to do. I'm asking for an outside source again to give me permission and to be an authority over
Mhm.
me
Mhm.
instead of I don't know if companion's the right word. Another time he told me he was trying to teach me to pick friends and partners that respected me and that thought I was amazing and that wanted to be my friend. And he was teaching me that's who he hangs out with, is people that think that he is amazing. And I had the feeling, he didn't use the words, but I had the feeling that it wasn't all comfortable for him to hang out with people that worshiped him, that thought that he was better, that thought that he was more special than anyone
Yeah.
that and I could see that, like,
The humility.
well, being, uh, uh, like my children, I don't love my youngest that isn't as educated as my oldest,
You don't love them
and
any less.
it's like
Yeah.
or has different skills or is a mother of 3 and not married yet, and, it's like, oh, they are both just so amazing and magnificent because they just are. So, I think that with all the interactions I've had with him, never was it that I felt coming across from him that he ever had a thought that he was better.
So I know this. I don't know if you've said it yet, but you were raised in the LDS faith
Mhm.
from the time you were young, a child,
Born.
born into. Okay.
Mhm.
So I caught what you said that from the time you were a child, that your spirituality, your spiritual relationships have always been a priority.
Mhm.
I really relate to that. That has been a strong theme of my identity throughout my life as well.
Mhm.
That aspect of my being. I haven't had a similar experience like you have, how I would love to, but I realize we all have different gifts,
Mhm.
and that's good.
Mhm.
So, having been born into this faith and also having these experiences, I mean, if I'm asking too much, you can say so. I mean,
You're not. You're not.
I'm guessing there was a time when you came to this realization that I'm experiencing things differently than some of these folks that I worship with each week. Maybe even your own family.
Yeah, actually, that took me a long time because it was normal to me, so I thought it was everybody's experience. I thought everybody thought the same as me.
Mhm.
So I thought that really, even sometimes now, it's like that is one of my things that I work on is I think people think like I do.
You know what? I think that's a human thing to do. We often assume, and I don't even believe we realize that we are assuming somebody experiences life in a similar manner that we do, whether it's when we're younger and in school or when we are around friends, from the time we start trying to figure things out for ourselves in our teenage years and our young adulthood and so on. Even I know you were married at one point, and so even among maybe our married friends, right, that they're experiencing marriage similarly, or you assume maybe you start sharing an experience, assuming that they're going to get it because they're married. So obviously, this is the way, you know, marriage is for everyone. But no, all of life experiences aren't the same for anyone. But I think you are not alone in that experience.
Mhm.
Um, so you were raised LDS. You grew up in Utah?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And you had siblings. Were your
There's
parents
7
and
of us.
7 of you.
Mhm.
And where do you fall?
I'm the 6th.
Okay. So you're kind of not quite the caboose, but
Right.
you're one of the youngers. Got it. So your parents and grandparents were also raised in this faith,
They
this
walked
religion?
over. They were pioneers.
They were pioneers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have pioneers in my heritage as well. So, Holly, share with us then. There comes a point. The more people I talk to, I'm finding a common thread among those that I speak with, anyway. And it's a different issue or topic for everyone. And that is, there comes a point where you start to realize something is not aligning or something's off, or you're starting to see things that maybe you didn't see or understand
Mhm.
previously. And I sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it happens all at once and it just steamrollers you,
Mhm.
but it begins this brand new chapter, brand new novel of, okay, I'm seeing things I can't unsee, and I've gotta navigate this. I've gotta figure this out. And sometimes it brings up questions and doubts that sometimes it brings up significant cognitive dissonance that is so painful and so excruciating to try to figure out. For me, it was when I learned that, my child identified as LGBTQ plus,
Mhm.
trying to reconcile beliefs, faith, the doctrines I'd been taught my whole life,
Huh.
my religion, something that was very dear to me, and also my child, also
Mhm.
extremely dear to me.
Yes.
And so this wasn't a wrestle I could just opt out of.
Mhm.
Every first Friday of the month, I offer a free coaching hour. Anyone is welcome to join, and you may leave your camera off and change your name if you would like to remain anonymous. This is an opportunity to get introduced to my style of holistic coaching and gain real skills, insight relevant to you, and fresh perspective on life circumstances. For those attending, there will be opportunities for a complimentary one-off energy alignment session. Register at the link in the show notes. So I would love to hear for you, how and when has that happened? And how did that go for you? How did you navigate? I call
Well,
it, for me, it was a pivot in my faith journey. You can call it whatever
yeah. Oh,
feels right
yeah.
for you.
I think mine was not as drastic as that. In being a, a Mormon, I had angels talk to me all the time. Jesus would come into my space. He was my teacher. He was my
That is so
main
special.
teacher.
I love that so
So
much.
that didn't change. What did change, that n I didn't realize it because had so much richness in my life. I didn't give myself permission to express myself, and I took this class at the beginning where this woman, she spoke in tongues, which if you it has certain rules in the religion to speak in tongues. If you don't do it a certain way, then it's
Mhm.
supposed to be from the devil, and I knew
Right.
she wasn't because I could feel her, and
Was
I
this
could
in
see when
university?
sh I could excuse me?
Was this in university, a class you said you took?
No, it was just a woman that I had a friend call me. I was a massage therapist at the time. It had
Sorry, I didn't mean
nothing
to
to do
interrupt.
with massage. And she said, "Hey, do you wanna take this class? It's right up your alley." It's like, "Okay, it's gonna be a massage class." No,
No.
no.
That's
And
funny.
I
That's
I
funny.
was afraid because I, was one that I was in leadership, and I went to the temple once a week. I mean, when I say I go all in, I go all in.
Mhm.
I was help myself to this is what you do if you follow what God, and I thought that it's what God wanted me to do. So to go to this class where she gave blessings, a woman that gave blessings and spoke in tongues, and I knew she was speaking truth, and it was yummy. And I realized I was starving for this depth that she brought in that was missing. And I don't know, I didn't relate it to because she was a woman that was just so beautiful in her love of God and expressed it in that way. It was just in general, and I'm happy that she was a woman because it showed me that a woman has that connection. Like, I felt that connection that I had and was told, "You can't have that connection. It has to come down a line," and they
Yeah.
were all men.
Yeah.
So, it
Do you mind
was very validating.
Yeah. Do you mind if we pause and talk about that a little bit more? That is it's a kind of a hot button topic right now. among those that are in, I don't know about out, somewhere in between of the LDS faith. But actually, I think it's a topic among a lot of conservative faiths, whether to quote, give women the authority of the priesthood.
Mhm.
And here you are from the time you're very young, not just having a hunch that God was working with you
Mhm.
and in you and through you
Mhm.
in your life.
Mhm.
You knew, you
Mhm.
knew that God had a significant role and place in your life, and yet those around you were like, "No,
Mhm.
no, you don't." Do you mind speaking to that a little bit? Like what that was like? I mean, when is the first time you remember that happening where you were
Well,
told,
this
"No."
wasn't the first time, but
Okay.
it was a time I felt so betrayed and angry. There was a family member, and he was to speak in sacrament, and he was like the stake president, and I don't really know. He was always in some over the temple and all of that sort of stuff,
So for
and he
those that
was
are not
asked.
familiar, a sacrament meeting is like the main,
Yeah,
uh, kind of meeting worship meeting where part of it includes taking of the bread and the water, and then
yeah.
there are also, keynote speakers that are asked in advance. So you were in this meeting,
Yeah, well, the night before, he the family member came, he was an
okay?
older gentleman, and asked me about my relationship with Jesus. Psh, it was like, "Oh, I feel so loved, it's my priority." It's, I just how I felt about Jesus.
Mhm.
And then I went to sacrament the next day, and his whole talk was why we shouldn't pursue to have a relationship, a personal relationship, because the prophet had one, and he named the line down of why I was wrong to pursue the relationship with
Wow, so
Jesus.
interesting.
And I felt betrayed. I felt offended. But, it must have made him afraid, it must have
Well,
threatened him.
do you remember how old you were?
I was older. This was I think I was in my 30s, so I had children, and it didn't deter me, it made me mad, but there were many times when I was younger where, I even one time I heard, Jesus's name so loud it hurt my ears. It was audible in my ears. And if you would ask me when I was front and center, doing everything that I needed to do, I would say, if they would say, could you hear uh, God? I would say, no, because I wasn't supposed to. So when I was younger, it was really conflicting because I've seen angels always. But if you asked me when I was young if I saw angels, I would say no. And I don't even know why I would say no. It's just, it didn't even match with my experience. It was just because you weren't supposed to. When I was a teenager and went baptism for the dead, then which is a thing you do.
Practice
Yeah.
that's done in the LDS temples that are
Yeah.
dotted throughout the
And
world. Yeah.
they, we went and we were talking, and one of the leaders that worked in the temple said that only the prophets were able to see, and have visits from Jesus and Heavenly Father. Only they were. And so it's like, oh. Okay, only they are. So so when I was younger, I just denied it, even though I couldn't deny it, but I never would. If someone asked me, I would say no. It's just
Interesting.
that brainwashing, I would say.
Yeah, maybe even fear-based that you were stepping outside of the expectation that was there for you, stepping outside of what you were taught your role was versus what the role of others was. I've learned it's a beautiful, empowering thing to claim your spiritual autonomy, which you obviously have,
Mhm.
Holly. And it's been a process, it sounds like, for you, especially because of some of the messages that you've received along the way. I would love for you to speak to maybe that point when you just you just did it. You just grabbed the reins. You stood firm in your your wherever your feet you stood where your feet planted you, and you knew this is who you are and this is my spiritual experience. This is not something I'm making up, and you claimed that spiritual sovereignty.
Well, I feel like really in my experiences, I'm 60 and I'm just doing that now. Not that I haven't, told what happened and stuff like that, but inside, I think I'm just doing that now in allowing myself to be seen because I have hid um many years, forever. Like I said, I'm 60. And in quiet moments or one on one, I would, or if someone asked me, for sure, I would tell my experiences and what I know. But hiding, yeah.
So it
So
wasn't something that you were particularly vocal about, but maybe in a safe space, one-on-one with somebody you trusted, you would share.
it's always fun to me to share the love that God has for each and every one of us. And that is the biggest thing is, and that's my most fun is to, because you can't feel the divine without feeling love
True.
and seeing the divine in everyone. And that's fun.
So the experience that you shared with us more towards the beginning of the call about sitting in the room at church where you were in Sunday school class, how many other times have you shared that experience?
Mm-mm. Oh, maybe 6.
Okay. So that's something that it's a sacred experience. And so, yeah, it makes sense that you would hold it dear to your heart.
And I'm okay
Yeah.
with sharing it. Um,
Hmm.
like, I think
And I
if more of
appreciate
us
that.
shared these simple, everyday experiences, then we would expect them to happen. They're not, um, I'm not, honestly, I think that I opened myself up to such things. I think everybody is open to those things. But my childhood was quite horrendous in keeping alive, where I had to have angels with me or I would have died. So ever since I was little, I think that that veil was thin because I think I would have died. At the same time, I don't think that there is anything particularly special where I think that it is open to everyone. It's just giving permission and saying and seeing, oh, it's possible. And then once we accept it's possible, then things like that happen. Then it's, to me, in my world, it's that magic is every day. It's everyday magic. So
I appreciate you being open and sharing. I'm sorry that you experienced that at such a young age.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm glad that you had very real, visceral experiences that let you know you were not alone and that
For
you were
sure.
cared for and loved.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's fast forward a little bit to now. I love that you shared with us. You feel like you're 60 and you're now claiming your spiritual sovereignty. I'm so excited. And I'm I'm guessing that being in the Joan of Arc Publishing, Mosaic Network, going to Writer's Island is part of that,
Hmm.
as it has been for me.
Hmm.
It's been such an
Yeah.
amazing experience.
And it speeds things up. For sure. It brings everything to the surface.
It really does. It compresses time, like Kira says. It absolutely speeds things up. I feel like 2025 is the year where I've lost track of how many layers I've peeled away, how many older versions of me I've thanked and allowed to pass on and then rebirth. Yeah. I'm curious to know, what are your feelings as you get closer to experiencing being on season 2?
I am feeling more comfortable. What I would love is that I just feel to be me and just am me and uh,
Yeah.
walk around and am able to just love everybody. That's my fun. And to talk to everybody and to love everybody. If I get shut down or I guess shy or whatever and in front of the
Yeah.
camera, that'd be a drag. I just want to be just who I am. And I am feeling more comfortable. So
So glad.
hopefully it will stay.
I think it will. I think each of us had similar concerns, and you just you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm here to work. I have a message that is just coming out. It needs to come out, needs to be birthed in this book.
Uh-huh.
And when you drop in, because Kira will drop you in each day and you're so focused on your work, uh, your awareness of the cameras is there, but it becomes less so. And you're just in the present moment with whoever is in your space at that moment.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that is a daily practice for me, is
Okay.
to drop in.
I love
And
that.
just however, and to just be with the divine. Being with the divine, I've separated from being with the divine. I felt quite sovereign
Mhm.
in my way for years and years.
Mhm.
It's being in front of people and speaking it is where my fears came in. So, like, the one-on-one with the divine is like I said, it's priority, always has been. So that part
Yeah.
I feel steady in,
I
grounded
wonder
in.
if you would be willing to share a little bit more about that. As you know, I've shifted earlier this year in my focus of this podcast, and I love to talk about the joys and the life that we have found on the other side of stepping into this, what feels like a great unknown, a great uncertainty at times when it comes to taking a different direction in your faith journey that you never anticipated. The beauty is there are moments of just pure joy and bliss and awe. And I'd love to hear more about that experience
Okay.
that you've had.
What I can see and with my experiences is there's just a very small part of us that doesn't remember. There is a part of us in this here and now that has never forgotten a thing of the God being that we're a part of.
Mhm.
And that part, to come into that part and just sitting with that part of us that has never forgotten. How could it?
Mhm.
And that part that knows that we are whole, and that part that knows that being whole and never have forgotten, all the answers are here. There is, when you come into that thought or that being, that there's nowhere to even go. There's just, I guess, you and you, or the divine and the divine. So that, to me, that's a blissful spot. And I forgot your question.
No, you no, you're talking about it, just the joyful moments that come with claiming, reclaiming what was always yours to begin with, that what was
Yeah,
always there to begin with, as far as your spiritual sovereignty.
yeah.
I heard you, you said, "This part of us that's always been there remembers our divinity."
Hmm.
I think that's the part of us that, like you said, describing your response when you went to this class, that you were starving for this depth the teacher was sharing. You were just, you didn't say this, but what I envision, you were just this sponge sitting
Hmm.
there, absorbing it all in like, I want more. This is manna to my soul, ambrosia
Absolutely.
of the gods.
Hmm.
I relate to that so, so much.
Hmm.
I have just dove into all of the things that there are to learn, and it just doesn't feel like there's enough time. And so that resonates, Holly. That old soul part of us, I think that's what's resonating
Hmm.
for me.
Well, even the part that of us that has forgotten, it's we've forgotten by design. We forgot so we could be on this beautiful journey of remembering.
Mhm.
So it's like the whole of it, the part of us that is forgotten, that gets to devour the meatiness and the
Mhm.
yumminess, and the part that is never forgotten. It's all divine. It's all part of this journey experience that we're having here. It's all beautiful is what I'm trying to say,
It
even the
is.
part of us that is forgotten,
Yeah,
that is coming, like that has insecurities and stuff like that. When we move through those and have clarity, isn't that delicious?
right. I think there's definite purpose in that. That's where the growth happens. That tension that exists in the part knowing, part not knowing, meaning that inner knowing, right? That's that's where we learn to exercise things that we wouldn't have to otherwise, like faith
Mhm,
and taking risks and stepping out into the unknown.
mhm.
So yeah, I absolutely hear you. That's a beautiful way to put it. So the last question I like to ask all of my guests is reflective of the title of the podcast. Tell us, what does living beyond the shadow of doubt mean to you, Holly?
Living beyond the shadow of doubt
Mhm.
is in the unknown is different than uncertainty to me. Uncertainty has a rattle feel. Unknown is just, it's a surrender to the beauty of what is showing up in the moment. So, to me, if we are living in the now, then that is the only place where no doubt is. If we are living in the past or the future, then there's fear and scarcity. And
Mhm.
so, um, it is living in the unknown, the surrender, and just trusting.
Yeah, that's a fascinating concept. I've not ever thought of that before. Uncertainty is different than the unknown. Yeah, I follow what you're saying. That's fascinating. I'm going to have to look into that a little more. You planted something in my brain that I'm not going to be able to let go of. um, so we'll make sure and leave your contact information for folks in the show notes. But for those that want to reach out, what is the easiest way to connect with you?
You can email me, or I have a website that's wholenesswithholli.com, and that's my email too, is wholenesswithholli with an I, and or Instagram. I think it's I am Holli Henrie.
We'll make sure and put the exact link in the
Okay.
show notes. You don't have to look it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I have a few for fun questions that I ask everyone. I don't tell you in advance. They're just to get to know you. I'm just looking for one word, maybe 2-word answers. I'm just going
Okay.
to throw them out there. Tell us your favorite book or a favorite book if one's too hard to pick.
Geez, I'm reading a book right now that I've read again, and I just can't remember the name. What is it? I know it's
Well,
just
when you
one
do, we'll
word.
put it in the show notes. How's that?
But I got The Seed of the Soul. I love The Seed of the Soul. That's one of them.
Hey, love it. Tell us your favorite artist.
My favorite, like singing artist,
You
music
can
artist.
pick the genre. You pick.
Don't have one, but I listen to music every day. I love Trevor Hall.
Okay, that
He's
works.
beautiful.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert, I would say.
I knew that. What about, are you night owl or morning lark?
Night owl.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think the older I've gotten, I've decided I'm really neither.
Yeah, me too. I was just pure night owl, but now,
Yeah, definitely a night owl when I was younger. Yeah,
but now I like both.
yeah. Tell us your celebrity crush, if you have one.
I'd have to make one up.
You'd have
I
to
don't
make
have
one up.
one.
That's fine. You don't have to have one. Do you do still or carbonated water or diet soda or some other fun beverage?
I like the carbonated water.
Me too. And then finally, the furthest place you've traveled.
The furthest? I don't know if it's the furthest. I've been to Gaza Strip. I've been there. I've
You
been to
have.
Portugal. I don't know which is the farthest.
Maybe Gaza's a little bit further. Wow, that's incredible. You've been there. The Holy Land. Wow. Well, Holly, it has been such a pleasure to chat with you
Thank
and
you.
get to know you a little bit more and to have you on for my listeners to learn from and be blessed by your words and wisdom. So thank you.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Writer, teacher, author, Mormon scholar, and founder of Dialogue Journal, Eugene England said, "My faith encourages my curiosity and awe. It thrusts me out into relationship with all creation and encourages me to enter into dialogue." As a proud member of the Dialogue Podcast Network, my hope is that Living Beyond the Shadow of Doubt podcast is an extension of that vision. Hopeful Spaces is a Dallas Hope Charities component of Hopeful Discussions, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA. It's a free monthly parent, ally, or caregiver support group facilitated by Megan Skidmore Coaching. Email chc@dallashopecharities.org for more info. Visit meganskidmorecoaching.com to find this podcast and additional free resources, including the link for a complimentary coaching session. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram for more, or to send me a DM. Help the podcast grow. Please follow, review, and share with a friend.